There's you and a couple of 100 million customers out there. But how do is starting out? You go door to door. You roasted some and took it to where'd you go?
It's so great question because you don't think about that, but I was so scared, just so scared because I have this horrible fear of failure, right? And I don't know really where that comes from. Doesn't matter, but I was just scared to death. So you can either that can motivate you or immobilize you, and I was just scared to death. So I was not going to go down without trying. So I just went around, and all the places that I thought would be easy. There was a coffee shop close to my house, and some other places, some kind of the usual suspects that you all know. You think, oh my God, if there's a guy roasting her coffee, 6 blocks away, there'd be the first one. Well, they were the ones that would not really be that interested, but the ones that were interested, and now looking back, of course, it makes sense, were those that were just this anal retentive, just this intense focus on perfection. So Marcel at Andres, the Nelson Atkins, Steve Cole from Cafe Allegro, these folks were the ones that were the most, and I think if Michael Smith had been around at that point in time, he would have been an early adopter. Jimmy at JJ's and some of these just wonderful, great people. Houston's on the Plaza at the time. They were all the ones that went, at some point I thought, oh my God, I would give my coffee to them to be able to say they're using my coffee. So they were the early ones but at first though, Stormy Normie, who's here today.
Stormy Norman.
We're going to get to you, Stormy Norman.
There he is.
I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry, but
Well, your early customers, you get some of these early customers.
I'd get up. Oh, I know. Norman found the logbook, and he actually got the roaster hooked up in September, the end of September. So I always tell people, we were incorporated November 4th of 1993, and that was our anniversary. But the truth is, I would have sold somebody coffee in September if they would have bought it. So I'm going September to October, November, December, and I haven't found one soul to buy a pound of coffee. And back then, the wholesale price of the coffee was $3.75 a pound.
And you had $5,000, as we will remember from.
So every day, that's where it's just a little bit less. So I get this intense sense of urgency. I'm about ready to pay somebody to buy my coffee. I swear to God, I just want to hurry up, and everybody's calling me every day, just selling coffee, just selling coffee. Because there's a lot of folks that want a success story, but there's a lot of folks that are in their safe place that can kind of say, see, he didn't make it either, so I'm not going to try it. So there was a little bit of that going on. But anyway, I finally, in December, made a sales to Pam Murphy, and God knows I'll never forget it. She bought 10 pounds of coffee. She had the espresso cart at KU Med Center.
So she's your actual first customer.
The first one.
The espresso cart at KU Med.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And I drove down state line back to my house, and
it's a good thing keeping those doctors awake during surgery, too. I just want to say it's a good thing.
You want them highly caffeinated, I think.
Yeah.
So I brought the coffee, I roasted it, brought it back, and this is a kind of a telling instance because it really kind of speaks to what the market was like at that time. So I bring it back to her, and she goes, "What's that?" And I said, "What's your order?" And she goes, "Where'd you get it?" And I'm like, "What do you mean, where'd I get it? I roasted it. I just did it." She goes, "What?" I go, "Why?" And she goes, "Well, I never thought about it before, but I would just order, and 2 weeks later or so, the coffee would come. And I guess I never ever thought about where it came from." And so there really was no local market, and that was obviously part of the opportunity, but also part of the problem. So if I would have been any earlier as a company, I think it would have been too early, and any later, it would have been too late. But that's how it started, one by one, and then Dave Nepstead down at the Commerce Bank building was I think the second or third customer, and pretty soon I got 8 or 9 customers that month. And then in January, my dad started coming down. He was retired, and he started coming down from Iowa and helping me. And a typical day would go like this. We'd get up in the morning and go deliver what we had sold the day before. Gourmet Grocer on the Plaza was another one. Tom can't think of his last name, but he was an early customer.
Tom Anderson.
Tom Anderson. And so I'd sell all day long, and then I'd go back about 5 or 6 and start roasting and packaging the coffee that I'd sold. And so that was taken up to about 4 in the morning. And then I'd get back up at 7 and go deliver it again. And it was...
Yeah. I have to have a lot of passion to do that, or a lot of fear, or both.
Both, yeah. I don't think, and caffeine,
and caffeine. Yeah, you were in the right business, I
yeah.
guess. You know.
But it said, you know, when you say, well, when you listen to somebody say, oh, working 18, 20-hour days, you know, that rolls off the tongue a lot easier than it does to actually do 18, 20-hour days.